Google, it's the search engine so popular it became a verb and a part of everyday life for most of us. And the company behind it rather, has made a big decision, announcing today significant changes to what you will be able to find when you use the platform to search for news. The company says it will block all Canadian news from its search engine and other platforms in response to the government's Online News Act, the so-called Bill C-18, which passed Parliament last week. The new law essentially forces companies like Google and Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, to negotiate deals to pay Canadian media companies for the content they link to and preview on their websites and platforms. That would include CTV News, which is a division of Bell Media. We requested an interview with Google, but were told nobody was available. Pablo Rodriguez is Canada's Heritage Minister. Hi, Minister. Good to see you as always. Thanks for making the time.
Good to see you, Vassy.
Minister, you said just in the past few days that you thought you could arrive at deals with both Meta and Google. In the interim, they have both announced that they will block Canadian news. What went wrong?
Well, Meta always said it was complicated. Google will still have a conversation as recent as this morning. I'm a bit surprised by Google's reaction, and I would say for three reasons. The first one is that the law is not enforced, so it doesn't touch anyone for now. There's no impact. Second, because we're still having those conversations with Google, and again, and I think they're productive. And third, because what Google is asking is exactly the things we plan to do anyway. It's part of the regulatory process. The same thing we did in C11, we're doing with C18.
So can you be more specific by that? Because my understanding is inherently both Google and Meta say what you've introduced and what is now law is different than the Australian model that they were able to come to agreements with publishers around. Because when they came to those agreements, the law basically doesn't apply to them, whereas the law that you've introduced automatically does. Why wouldn't you approach it the same way Australia did so that we could have avoided this?
Because we wanted two things. First, more transparency, what they don't have in Australia. In Australia, it's the minister that decides which platform is in, which platform is out, which media can negotiate or not. We said, no, we're going to put criteria that will decide which platforms will be captured and which media will be able to negotiate. And we said arm's length as possible. I don't want to decide. I don't want to be the minister or the government that decides where the money goes. We simply put a table in the middle, tech giants sitting on one side, media on the other, and negotiate between them.
But I think what their concern is that the way that you've designed it, which I understand from your perspective, is to counter issues around opaqueness in Australia, but results in a de facto application to them, one that they can avoid in Australia. And the end result, with great respect, Minister, is that in Australia, they were able to reach agreements with news publishers. Now we have a situation here where news content will no longer be available on these massive platforms.
Well, we'll see what happens, Vassy. Again, but newsrooms are closed. I've mentioned this before at your show. Around 500 newsrooms close their door across the country, right? Big or small cities and, in regions. And they will continue closing their doors. The status quo is not working because the money is going to the tech giants. That's on one thing. On the other side, we cannot have tech giants as powerful as they are with big lawyers and everything coming here and telling members of parliament and the government elected by the people, this is what you're going to do. We can't accept that. We're a sovereign nation. So again, the option is always to negotiate. And that's what we're doing. And again, we're still not talking to Google as of this morning, but we're talking to them.
But am I to infer from those discussions that they're going very poorly, given what Google announced? You said you met with them this morning, and what hours later they came out and said we're blocking all Canadian news as soon as this comes into effect.
Well, my team met discussed with them this morning, not me. It was last week. Yeah, that's why I said I don't understand exactly why they put that press release. It doesn't come into effect now. It comes into effect in 6 months. Is this a strategy to negotiate? I don't know. You should ask them. But again, the law doesn't affect anyone at this moment because we're preparing the regulation. Second, they're looking for clarity and certainty. That will be in the regulations, and they know that extremely well. And again, discussions ongoing with them.
So let me ask you then, over the next 6 months, if you are pointing to regulation as kind of the way out for both parties here, does that mean there is a world in which the regulations will dictate that these two companies that the law does not apply to these two companies?
No, it applies to them because of the criteria the way they're structured will capture certain companies, definitely these two, because they're dominant. They have 80% of all the revenue, the advertising revenue every year. So that's a huge amount of money going to them and not to our traditional media, not to the real newsrooms across the country. What Google wants in this case is more clarity, more certainty, exactly like C11. Yahoo, which is belongs to Google, needed certainty, and we kept saying through the process, it's going to be clarified in the regulations. It's going to be clarified that that creators are out, the online creators are out. Well, it was clarified in the regulations, and then discussion was over and moved on. All of us moved on, and I think we can do the same thing for C18, definitely.
Why not provide that clarity in advance, though? And I take your point about regulations, but we have a situation right now, again, where the objective that you had, which was to quote-unquote save journalism, is the opposite of what's happening. These companies are now not going to publish Canadian content. Was there not a way, and do you not assume some responsibility to avoid that in the first place? Why not make everything you say is going to be clear before this point?
Because there's a process in our country. We have to follow the law. We have to follow the process. And the first step was to table a bill and adopt the bill, which we've done. And by the way, I sat with Google at the beginning, at the very first day, with Google, with Meta, and I met again, I think, another time, and again recently last week. The bill is there. Now we have to go through the regulation process. We can't not respect our own law. And by the way, Vassy, everyone, you and I, we have rules that we have to respect. We have laws that we have to respect. Right? Try not to respect the law. You will see what happens to you. Canadian companies and even international companies, they have rules to respect, but not those tech giants. And that's not acceptable. So I'm asking them to keep discussing with us, see how we can move forward. And I think there's positive ways to do it because, again, what Google is asking for is things we plan to do anyways through regulations.
Why have your attempts to assure them of that failed?
Well, I don't know why, they published what they published today, because the discussions around regulations are going on. The drafting of the regulation is going on. The law doesn't apply to anyone again at this moment, zero, none of them. And I think we're open to have those constructive regulations. And they know that, because I'm talking about the same company here, Google / Yahoo, they know that I really kept my word on C11. And I'll keep my word. And we keep aware as a government, when we say that regulations will bring clarity, regulations, as in C11, will bring clarity.
Is this about optics for your government at all? Is this about the optics of wanting to take on these big tech companies? So it positions your government in a certain way, in a certain favorable light, at the expense of good policy?
No. What I want is good deals for our news companies, for a free, independent, non-partisan press in Canada. Why? Because it's part of a democracy. You guys are a pillar of our democracy. The role that you play is fundamental. The tough questions that you ask are absolutely fundamental. But you guys are disappearing slowly, money going to the tech giants, and they have to be able to share that. They have to be able to compensate fairly, not more, not less, but fairly, newsroom that produce content that has value.
If though, and you make a good point, I'm not free of investiture in any of this, but if in fact the model upon which I do the work I'm doing is broken, and it is not, and these companies are not able to make money doing it, why is it the government's role to fix that? Isn't it the company's responsibility to do so?
Well, and they're doing that too. They're looking for new models. They're looking for new ways to move forward. And some along the way had to close their doors. Others are surviving well, and others may close their doors sooner than later, which is a problem because those companies are disappearing. And so is that good for democracy? No, it's bad for our democracy. And we have to make sure that those tech giants that make a lot of money here, listen, I'm happy for them. If they want to make money, it's fine. But they have to contribute in a fair way to the content that is produced, that they pay for that content, because once again, that content, what you're doing now, Vassy, has value.
Okay, Minister, I have to leave it there. I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.